bad. Welcome back to the channel. So it's been a crazy last couple of weeks. We went on vacation. Well, we did a hot rod power tour. We came back, and then old Fred's air conditioning puked again. We'll get into that in a second. But then we went on vacation to Charleston, South Carolina, met some friends. If you haven't watched the little fishing video I did, you got to check it out. It was super fun. Caught one of the biggest fish I ever caught. It was awesome. But we're back at it. Oh, and while we were there, we got up there. So it's like a 9-hour drive from here. Old Susie, our Suburban, the AC decided to puke. So that was awesome. So we had the rest of the trip without air. So that's still on the agenda to fix. But we've got old Fred back here at the operating table. And we got a few issues to fix. So after power tour, like I said, the AC puked. The one part that I didn't fix, that I didn't replace, I should say, was the evaporator. And of course, I got a leak in the evaporator. So my friend Mr. Jones up the street, he evacuated it for us. So we got to dive in, change that evaporator. The power steering pump on the trip started leaking. So that's puking all over the driveway, peeing out of the bottom of it. So we're going to change that. And then a couple other things. I want to move the fuel pump relay to inside the truck. So I'm not sure if that was overheating, but to avoid it, we're going to move it into the climate control cab. And then it has a 190 or a 195 thermostat in it. And the temperatures really never got hot unless we were at sitting in traffic. But I'm still going to put a 180 in it. So we're going to take that apart while we got everything torn down. And we'll throw a 180 degree thermostat in it. Maybe see if it brings those temperatures down. I just paranoid of like sitting in traffic and start puking coolant over and overheating. It hasn't happened. It's been running cool. It was running fine, but maybe that 10 or 15 degrees, whatever it was, will help. So let's dive in. We got a bunch to do on old Fred to get Fred back in the road. We really need that air because it's like always like 7,000 degrees down here in Lower Alabama. So let's hop on it. So the first thing we need to do, definitely want to disconnect the power to everything. So that's a must so we don't blow anything up. The old sniper power here. Should do the negative. The negatory so I don't shorten anything. Having this battery with these posts is sure a super convenient. I think it's a great way to go with this old sniper here. I'm going to disconnect everything completely, just for ha-has. All right, little sniper roaming is completely disconnected. All right, we are clean. So let's say the next thing, I think before I get too crazy, I'm going to slide the bucket up underneath here and start draining the coolant, or not all of it, but some of the coolant, just to get below that water neck. So we can change that out. And once it's drained, I'll just kind of put that back together and then we'll pull apart this front of the engine because we got to take the compressor off to get to that power steering pump. So yeah, let's tackle that first. Get that stripped. Then we'll strip the AC. I'm trying to come up with a plan as we go, and then we'll see what we can do with this evaporator. All right, let's drain the coolant first. Get that done. I found it. So we got some old, top of a old cat litter thing I've had forever. We used to have cats, so it works out great. Slides right under the truck. So we got this coolant draining. I don't want to drain the whole thing, just enough to get working on it. It's up here. We'll let old frame drain for a little bit. Start taking some of this apart. All right, we got the 19 I like metric stuff here. Free. Gonna kind of do a little lifter roading, set that off to the side. I don't want to break anything apart any more than I have to. So I'm actually going to take a piece of tie wire and just tie wire this on so I don't knock it off and break something else. And I got something else in here I want to show you. So if you remember when we were on Hot Rod Power Tour, I kind of had some suspension issues. The alignment shop didn't tighten up the nuts on the upper control arms, and then I lost some bunch of shims. And so I took it back there. They fixed it for me. I come home, and yeah, they fixed it, and all the convex washers and everything, nothing's lined up. So I'm going to bring you in here and show you that. That's something else we need to fix. It's wide open now that I've got this compressor off, so you're not going to believe this. It's just kind of crazy. So we got those washers all squared away, those convex washers. So they're all square. I'll take you in here and show you what I did, and then I'll show you what we've got for this power steering pump. It's pretty easy. I'll show you what we've got to take you in. Whoop. In place how they should be. That's a lot of shims, but see it, we're in. They're straight up and down. They're in the little groovage like they should, all tightened up nice. So go back over here. So for the power steering pump, pretty easy. We got the old adjustomatic screw here, bolt. So we'll take that out. Whoop. And then get a better view here. So we'll take this old adjustomatic screw out here. That bolt there goes. And then this bracket we got to take off. It goes to the manifold. So we got to pop that critter. And then there's another bolt in the front way down there. So we got to pop that critter out. Actually, I'll show you on the new one. So this one here isn't new, but when I bought the AC brackets, this sucker came with it. And it's new, and it says made in China. So it should be a really good one. So just going to clean it up a little bit. And then we'll put this one in and hope for the best. Figure, why not? We got it. We'll give it a whirl, even though it's a pain. Maybe I should have got another one, but it came out of a working truck. Hopefully, it's good. So let's dive in, and we'll take that all apart. All right, so we'll dive in and take these this side bracket off here first. I don't know what size it is. These are so mixed up. I can't believe it. It's that one, I think. Mixed up. It drives me crazy. Some are standard. Some are metro. Just thinking, it's another thing I want to take care of is that throttle bracket. Need to raise it up so that the throttle cable is straight. Right now it's kind of pulling down. I'd like to straighten that out. Big bar. Oh, there's a little stud in there, that's why. Aha! So we just learned something. There's a little collar in here that locks in and kind of interlocks that other one. Good to know. Learn something new every day. All right, so that's free. I'm gonna take this little clampage off and pull these clamps off and see where exactly it's leaking here. So I got it off, and it looks like there's a bolt in the back of the, well, not a bolt, a threaded hole behind the pulley. And it looks like it's leaking out of there. And then coming down the front of the case and then dripping down. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show you. Let me see. Let me try. I'm gonna bring you in. I'm gonna bring you in. Can you see it? Let's see. Nope, you can't see it there, that's for sure. Right there. See it? It's like a threaded hole right there. See it? Looks like it's coming out of there and then running down this case and then dripping. So I guess we gotta change it. Gotta change it. Can't have power steering fluid dripping all over the place. So we're gonna disconnect the hoses, get it out, and we'll get that new one in. We did it. Power steering pump is in. The new to me, old power steering pump is in. I think it's fairly new. I mean, it's definitely a repop. It says made in China, but had the double pulleys on it from an AC truck, so we should be good. So I got everything. Everything's all buttoned in. Hoses are hooked up. High pressure towards the front of the truck, low pressure towards the back. Everything's in. Belt's tightened up. The stud on the back now has a nut on it. It was missing before. So we should be in pretty good shape. So we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. It's like 7,000 degrees. I'm getting tired. So tomorrow we'll hit the thermostat. We'll swap that out and then put the AC compressor back in. Then we'll hop on over and see what kind of a chore this evaporator is gonna be. All right, so we'll see you in a sec. All right, it's another day. Got a good night's rest, went to work. Now we can get to playing with Fred here. We'll swap this old thermostat out. Hopefully this helps a little bit. Not that it was overheating, but I want to avoid it from overheating. So we'll just pop this off. We got a new thermostat, gasket, all that stuff. Hopefully we don't make too much of a mess here. I believe it was a 195 in here. I had just thrown the old thermostat in that was in here before, because I didn't think of buying a new one when I should have. But that's all right. I'm gonna change it now. I did a good job of sealing it. GB, what is it? Yeah, it is a 195. So we're gonna drop this down to a 180, and I think that's gonna help us with the old bringing those temperatures down, because it was running, I want to say right in that lane, like 190, 195. So I guess it was doing its job, but maybe it'll get down that 180 range if we got this changed. So we'll see. Let's get this new one in. So I got the 180 in there. We've got gasket on, and then this has got the O-ring, but like I did last time, I'm still putting a little foo-foo of the old blue RTV in here. Nothing crazy, just a little light, please make me seal coating. Nothing wild. Just want a thin coat on here because I don't want a leak. Pop this bad dog on. Okay. Hey, did you see what I did with the bolts? Because I lost the bolts. I got them. They're just hiding there. Yep, back over there. Perfectly torqued. Okay, give this another. All right, we're good to go. Let's put this compressor back on, and then evaporator time. Remember how this critter goes in here. Something like that. Find the rest of the brackets. Trying to remember how this whole thing goes together, so I just had to put that bracket back on. Then it's pretty simple. Get the two bolts that go in that one. Put on the slideroni up here. Back here. And then we've got two. We got one. I had to make a custom spacer for the bracket that comes off the manifold to it. So he's got to pop that in there. That's another adjustomatic one. Just taking a big old nut and drilled it out when I was doing this AC redo. And it seemed to work great. Had to grind it down some, drill a hole, we're fine. And then the last one is the one that bolts directly into the compressor itself. Get this old belt back around here. Boy, not bad at all. Get a bar here, tighten it up. We're getting pretty good at this on the side of the highway. Did it a couple times on Power Tour. Okay. Okay. Tighten the rest of them up. We'll be good to go. All right, so we're all set. We've got the AC compressor all hooked up, tightened up, good to go. Power steering pump is all filled up. So kind of overfilled it, but we'll see once it pumps up. I think the lines are dry, so we'll check that. But so that's full, filled up the radiator. Now it's on to the AC. So we got to take this whole thing apart. Let me get this out of the way. We got to take this apart. We got to take the dryer off, disconnect the lines, and then disconnect all those wires and stuff, the sniper things, all that's in the way. So we're gonna get that off and see if we can take the side case off of that evaporator box without having to like tear the whole thing apart. So hopefully it won't be too bad. Let's dive in and see what we're up against. I think there's a bug up there the size, I don't know, size of a dog flying up in the ceiling. So anyway, we're gonna start, get this dryer off of here. Disconnect the old power here. Switcheroo, and just disconnect these lines. If I don't have the right size, I got the right size here. And I did have this all evacuated, so we're safe to disconnect it. And he saved the Freon. Well, he said he did. Maybe there's a little pressure left. Wasn't much. Don't breathe it in. That's good though that it was still holding a vacuum a little bit. It doesn't mean there's a huge leak in there, but it was leaking. Kind of felt like it was air, so I'm thinking he might have just pressurized it with air to keep any contaminants out. It sure didn't feel like any sort of refrigerant. It just was like air. So, come on, get off of there. A little 3/8 nut bolt here. Oh, that hurt. It's so funny. Okay, we got to fix old Pepe's bird. I think once we get Fred squared away, that bird's been sitting there for a couple of years on jack stands. We need to get the old bird back up and flying again. I think that should be a priority. Break free. Got the liquid line here. Just got to get a couple wrenches for that. We'll bust that free. Then we'll look at this case. This whole thing just goes to show you that when I was doing this AC system, I should have just replaced absolutely everything. Because the one piece that I didn't replace was the one that failed. You know, we were that far away for a $80 evaporator. It would have been cheaper in the beginning. All right, lesson learned. Take it from me. Okay, what do we got? That can stay. I'm gonna take that clippy off. Little 5/16 screw here. Take this little bracket off of the. There's just a little split clamp down there with a 5/16, like almost like a tech screw. Now we just got to look at taking this box apart. What's involved in that? This stuff out of the way. Just gonna unclip this for now. My plan is to relocate this stuff. Now just kind of get it out of the way. Iron harness is attached back here. Somehow. Clamp under there. Okay, so we got one down below. Got one up high here. Actually, that case is cracked. I'm gonna have to glue that. And then here, 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 and probably one down here. Yep. May not be so bad. Let me get some tools for this. We'll be right back and we'll see if we can pop this cover off. This looks like duck seal. I think the previous owner was an electrician. It looks like duck seal. So I got that top nut off. They had the wire on it, so it's gotta kind of glue that piece back onto the box. Put a big fender washer over it to kind of squish it to the firewall when we put it back together. But I want to show you what bolts we got to take out so that when you're doing this, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll show you. So you got a couple up top. You got the one I just took out there. There's another one right down there by the fuel lines. Way down on the bottom. Another one, another one, another one. Two more on the top. So we're gonna bust into those. Hopefully we can just take this half off and then get the evaporator out of there. I'm not really sure. I'm hopeful. So I'm hopeful. We'll see. So let's tear that apart and see what we can find. I've never done one of these, so it's a learning curve for me. One thing I just saw I'm gonna go pull out is the orifice tube, because we gotta put that orifice tube back in. Don't wanna forget that. All right, a lot of schmegma on it. I think we got another one because we bought like 17 kits to do this the first time, so let's see if we have a new one that's the same. We'll put that one in. The ones down at the bottom would be fun getting back in. Yeah, feel it. Yeah, that's a stud with a 7/16. Woo! This stud must be covered in like undercoating or something. It's coming. It's fighting. Did it. I'm gonna get a big screwdriver. Let's see if we can. I almost open it with my finger. Let me get a little plastic pry bar, not a screwdriver. The damage we can do with our handy dandy little Harbor Freight plastic pry bar doodads. So I'm just wiggling it. That broke free really easy. Wow. This is way easier than I thought. Holy macaroni. Look at this, coming right out. Well, so I thought. Dipstick in the way. Dipstick. What movie was that? Dipstick. Smokey and a Bandit. Oh, easy. Oh, well, that was bad. It just crumbled. My airbox crumbled. Mice liked it in there too. Here's the other piece. So word to the wise, if you take one of these apart, they're pretty fragile. Fragile. They're Italian. Okay. I didn't think I put that much pressure on it. So I got the new evaporator and I checked. Believe it or not, it's the same as the other one. So I'll pop this in, and I got a plan for that broken case. Not sure if it's the right thing to do, but it's what we're gonna do. In place, stay. It looks like there's little clips here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some black RTV, kind of follow where the gasket was, all the way down and around. In there. So let me get the RTV, we'll get that in, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do with this old broken box. Hope it'll work. Let's put a nice happy bead of RTV all around here. So this is my plan. So I put some RTV on both sides here. I'm gonna stick this back against the firewall, up against the box. Get these lower bolts in pretty much all the way, kind of snug. And then I've got some JB weld epoxy stuff. When I put the other side on, I'm gonna coat this whole fiberglass line with it, spooge it in, kind of smear it in after we get it bolted together. And then if we need to, we can always put another coat on it, but hopefully it'll work. I think it will. Probably not the right thing to do, but it's what we're gonna do anyway. Started. Okay, and the nut started. All right, so that bottom side is in. So that's good. I'm gonna kind of get this back in position. I'm gonna mix up some of that epoxy stuff, put on there, and then we'll set the top piece on. Hope for the best, learn from my mistakes. So I got some of this JB weld stuff. So what I'm gonna do is just paint it on the broken area. Kind of give it a good liberal coat. Then I can always go back after and hit it with another coat. Oh, let's see if it works. Worst thing is it doesn't work, and I'm gonna have to go find another air box. Do something even if it's wrong, will you? There it is. It's definitely more unpleasant of a job than I thought it was going to be. That seam seems to be kind of together. So I got to get a big fender washer to put on there onto that back stud because the ear was broken off and there's no way that'll ever hold. So I'm just going to put a big washer on that and we'll suck that in and then tighten up the rest of these bolts and kind of let it dry. So I got a big old fender washer. So where that crack is, I'm just going to put this fender washer in there to give us some more surface area so we can bolt this thing in securely. All right, so that harness is back in place. I did put RTV around everything, around the box and on the firewall. That airbox seam seems to be pretty good. The seam seems to be. This is all good though. We're secure. That's in place. You gotta be careful. You don't want to kill those things because they're pretty fragile. I'm gonna mix up some more of that epoxy, put some rubber gloves on and kind of finger that in there because it sets up pretty quick. And then I'm gonna debate if we want to put more sealer in. I think we should be good because I sealed it pretty well. So I think I might roll with it for now. We just gotta find some duck seal. I might have to get that tomorrow. All right, let's mix some of that epoxy up and then we'll put this thing back together. I'm gonna put these on to begin with, but so I plan on doing, I'm just gonna take a little dab will do ya. Just kind of run it. I'm just trying to fill in the groove. I think we're gonna run it. Fingers crossed. You don't tell anybody, I won't tell anybody. You'll never know because it's down below. But let's see how it works. All right, so let's put this baby back together. We've got get that liquid line in first. So I'm gonna put a little of the oil down inside of it. Just because you're supposed to, I guess. All right, so we're gonna put a little of this mineral oil back inside. So we got this new one. So let's just pour a little of this in here. I guess that much is enough. I bought a bunch of rebuild kits, so I got a ton of these. Bend this into shape a little bit. Bend this down a little. Match up. Get a couple of wrenches, we'll snug that up. Snug that one up, liquid line's done. Get the accumulator in. We're gonna do these last couple lines. Okay, we're good. Let's put our little clamp on. Boom, Shazam, we're in. Now we gotta put accumulator. There, accumulator. There we go. We're in. One more to go. See if we can get this critter on here now. Works. I think I need to secure this a little bit better down here. Even if I just put a piece of rubber there with a zip tie, I think that'll be better than the way it's set up now. Mongo wrench. That's it. Okay, what do we got left? We got to plug in this low pressure switch. It's a big job. We can handle that one. And then we'll plug this back in. A fuel pump relay for the old sniper. Boom, back in. Okay. I think we did it. So what we got left? We gotta get some duct seal, secure this pipe a little bit, even though it's kind of locked in there now. Get it recharged. Okay, so let's go find some sealer and we'll give old Fred a run, see if we can do any of this other stuff. Not sure yet. We'll see in a few. I picked up some duct seal so we can seal up around these pipes. I seal up the bottom one. I always like making a little sausage and then kind of wrap it around there. So it's kind of the last thing we need to do, and we'll be ready for some air again. So just gonna take this duct seal and not be shy about it. Just kind of pack it right around the pipe here. That out of there, that little extra piece. And just kind of work it in. Seal it up the best we can. Seal up those holes. So it seemed like it had just regular duct seal on it, so that's what I'm going to use. I mean, we use all the time. Used to. That's it, it's sealed up. So this seemed to be okay. So this little edge there that I sealed up with that plastic sealer, running my fingers on there, it seems pretty solid and it's locked in pretty good. So I think that seal's gonna be all right. Hope for the best. Maybe after I'll start it and then give it a whirl to see if we've got any leakage from the fan around there. Maybe hold a piece of paper, we'll see. But I think that seal will be all right. We'll find out. So I'm just gonna do that, wrap it up. The other stuff we're gonna save for another video because I don't want this video getting too long, and we still gotta do the throttle. I gotta take this tire apart, fix that front suspension on this side. We got a bunch of other stuff to do. Fred just the list keeps growing, it never ends. So for now, we're gonna leave it at this. We're gonna get this finished up, take it to Mr. Jones's, get the refrigeration flowing again, and hopefully we'll have a nice icebox mode Fred again. So appreciate y'all watching. Thanks, take care. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Thanks.